So, ladies and gentlemen, we back here on the podcast today. I got a lot of them I need to get caught up on. I've been kind of slacking in the last week with the podcast. But as you can see here on the screen, I kind of put some tweets together that was floating around on Twitter after the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. Now, the lie and propaganda, let me say, that comes out, and even how they fudge the numbers to try to say black women were the leaders of getting all the abortions in America. Well, I asked a simple question to any black person and said, when have they ever came up with a law to benefit black people or black women in particular? When have they done that? Why would they do that all of a sudden now? Why all of a sudden they care about black babies, but they shoot down black babies all the time? Shoot them in the back, kneel on their neck, do all kind of things that they like to do to black folks, right? Why all of a sudden they caring now? That's the question that we always have to answer. Now, there's a book called The Dearth, right? The author name is Ben Wattenberg. Now, he understood that the white population would be in trouble. So he had some ideas to try to help the white population, but he could not do certain things because they would benefit. So, they had ideas like, hey, we could pay white women to have babies, but if you pay white women, you got to pay all women. So we definitely don't want to pay black women and other non-white women money to have babies because obviously they'll outpace us. He said in his book that 60% of the abortions in America were done by white women. And his idea was if we could stop the 60% from being aborted in America, then we can save our population. So this is where the movement by the white right-wing pro-life movements come out of. It's not about saving anything but their numbers. And if you remember the white lady, what's his name, Representative Mary Miller, that was up there with Trump, she came out and even admitted this. Let's go ahead and put that up real quick.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
So she even said that it was about saving white life. Now, she came back later and said, oh, that's not what I meant. I meant right to life. Come on, chick. We know that's exactly what you meant. You didn't say, oh, shoot, I made a mistake because you was sitting up there with those people excited and that was the end of it. Just admit it. That's what you think about the whole thing. This issue and this so-called fight has nothing to do with black folk. Now, the Democrats are trying to push black women into it, but they have nothing to do with this whatsoever. But in the process of all of this, we have been seeing how the white liberal get down. And Malcolm X told you a long time ago that the white liberal was the most racist one. Now, you got this woman here. Everybody was calling her out. Now, this is an MSNBC article, and Clarence Thomas is basically speaking about, well, you know what, since we took care of this, then maybe we need to go after gay marriage. We need to go after certain things, the same-sex activity and contraceptives. That's what he said, right? Okay, fine. This white liberal woman says, doesn't the N-word, she wrote the whole N-word, of course I had to block it out for YouTube, realize his rights is next? And then she says, and this is how pissed off I am. Drop the N-word and people react. I'm not racist either. Just making a point. But this is your liberals. This is your liberals that are supposed to be your Democrat friends, black people. Now look at them. Look at these ones on the right. Hard to feel patriotic for a country that doesn't respect me. Oh, all of a sudden the country don't respect you. But it was never respecting black people all this time, and you had no problem with black people being disrespected. No problem at all. You didn't understand why Kaepernick and other people were kneeling during the national anthem. You were pissed off by that. But now, since it's touched you, all of a sudden now you don't feel patriotic. Look at this next one. Woke up this morning in a country where I am now a second-class citizen and my body is owned by the government. Yesterday, I was a first-class citizen with rights. Yes, you were, and black people wasn't. And I am so glad that now you are a second-class citizen in your opinion. And if you look at what the Supreme Court said, it said it goes back to the states. That's it. So that means you could travel to liberal California and get your deletion. You can travel to is it Washington State and all? I think Oregon. There's a bunch of states you could travel to and still go do that. So they didn't ban it. Now, what they're saying is if the Republicans get in control of the Congress and they get in control of the White House, then they may just go ahead on and try to ban it completely all over the United States. I can see them doing that. I can see them doing it. Look at this other one here. I'm not celebrating the 4th of July. F America and F you Republicans. Just wait till your rights are overturned. Oh, so now it's F the 4th of July now. F the country, F everybody. See, white women, let me tell you something, white women. Listen to me. This is good. This is good for you because you sat up there for a long time and sided with your man against black people because you want to share in the power with your man. And the history of your man in this country has always had you subjugated. You were just a little bit above the slave at that time period. That's what you were. And the white man that you want to prop up and want to participate in white supremacy against, right? Against us for sure. Now he's turning and going back against you again. I don't feel sorry for you because black people have been telling you for a long time, about your man. And all you have done, you coddled him. You voted for him when he clearly had no problem taking rights away from black people. White women, you said nothing about police brutality. You said nothing about the discrimination that happens in this country to black people. Matter of fact, you have gotten advantage, especially over black women. You come in with less education and you get more jobs, more money than black women. They got more education. You have been put in a position where you can dip in both sides of the coin with money. You benefit from white supremacy and you benefit from quote unquote minority set asides. Because as we have told you before, when they say women, they mean white women. White women are not a minority in this country. They are part of the white community. They're not a minority, but they have put them in with minority set asides. So you can dip into the money of that's supposed to be for non-white people, and you can get the money that's meant for your community too. This is why white men say they feel discriminated against because they can't dip into both sides like you can dip into both sides. The fact is, why is it that when your rights are taken in your mind, because to me, it's not, I don't see how this is a so-called right. But in America, we don't have rights. We have privileges. And you are the most privileged woman in America. Privileges. Because a right, you can't take a right away. You can take a privilege away, but you can't take a right. So we have the Bill of Privileges in this country. We have all these, it's my right. No, it's your privilege. Because if they could take it away from you, that means it wasn't a right of yours. I don't want to hear no crying. Listen, I'm actually glad a lot of you coming out being racist. I'm glad. And listen, we ain't in no business of defending Clarence Thomas, of all people to defend. No, but I'm glad you actually coming out there and saying these things about Clarence Thomas. I'm glad. And you wasn't the only one that said that. There was another one that said something about Clarence Thomas too. He actually worked for the Washington Post that I saw, but I just didn't have time to put this up. He said the same thing. He called Clarence Thomas the N-word. I'm not coming to his defense, but I still got to call that out about your mentality. You raised and cultivated the white supremacists. You. And then now you're mad when the same white supremacist males that you cultivate and that you raise, now they're turning on you. Don't look this way because that's not our fight. That's not our problem. You want to get in the street and protest? That's your business. I'm going to sit down in my home. I'm going to watch on the TV or on my internet or on my mobile phone. And I'm going to sit there and watch you deal with your man. It has nothing to do with black folk. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. You didn't come out and scream about rights when Sandra Bland was killed. You said nothing about Breonna Taylor. You said nothing about Renisha McBride. You said nothing about Corinne Gaines. You said nothing about Charlena Lyles. See, when it's you, it's women. But when it happens to black women, they on their own. You're silent and you're quiet. You don't care about nobody else but your freaking self. So deal with your man on your own. That's your problem. That is your community issue to be dealing with. Then you're trying to play these scare tactics to black people. Oh, well, they're going to come take this right and take that right. We will manage. We know how to deal with y'all. We know what to expect from you. I'm sitting up there on TikTok seeing different comments from saying, oh, we should have listened to black people. Oh, now you want to listen to black people. Now you want to listen to them. It's too late. We have no sympathy for you. None. Because you had the opportunity to join with black folk and call out your man. You had the opportunity to go in those jury rooms and help out black people during juries. And you have sided with your man so many times, sending black people to jail for freaking simple things, small things. You have never showed up for black people nowhere. So black people is not going to show up for you. Black women is not going to show up for you because black women see the okie doke. Let's call it what it is. Y'all complaining about Trump and the Supreme Court justices. Y'all didn't go out and vote for Hillary Clinton either, though. Y'all, we talking about white women. Y'all did not go out and vote for Hillary. And y'all complaining about that election now. It was y'all. It wasn't us. It was you. Your women voted for Trump. The majority of white women in the 2016 election voted for Trump. So if you want to complain about somebody that talk about, oh, because of the 2016 election, it's your fault. You didn't go vote for it. But let's call it what it is. You are not even comfortable with women running anything. You're not comfortable with that. So, and I'm not a fan of Hillary Clinton. I talked about her. You can go check my history about everything I said about Hillary. But what I'm saying is, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's not black people's fault. It's your fault because you would not put that on black people because they're like, oh, black people that came. No. If you would have came out and voted for Hillary, then maybe you still would have your stuff. So why don't you sit up here and think about maybe your own self-interest a little bit, white women? But being racist to us is not, it's not going to help anything. But the thing is, we know how a lot of y'all get down. We know how you get down. We know. And you make y'all listen, y'all, the liberals, y'all making my job too easy. Y'all giving me the messages to give to the people. I don't want to hear no crying about the 4th of July. I don't want to hear no talk about you being a second-class citizen because you admit you was a first-class citizen and black folks not a first-class citizen at all. Black folks are treated like a 5th-class citizen. At least you feel like you still higher than black folk being a 2nd-class citizen, right? Your patriotism for this country is just tied to what you get. But you see why black people are not the biggest patriotic people? And we have been the most patriotic because we have always fought for America. It wouldn't be no America if black people didn't fight for it or even build it. Remember, black folks built America, but y'all wouldn't even beat the British if it would have been for black people. We have always been there to save you out your problem and save you from yourself. This time in history, black people are saying to you, fix your own problem. We're not coming to save you no more. We've done too much for you. And what do we get in return? A proverbial F you. We say we need reparations. F y'all black people. We ain't giving you reparations. We say, hey, stop killing us in the street like this to these police. F black people. We gonna keep doing it. Hey, black people, we need to close the wealth gap because of what happened through slavery and all that. F y'all black people. Go to work. Stop being lazy. Every time we talk about our issues, y'all have this F black people. So how we feel about it, F y'all too. Now you losing your rights. And you know what? I hope that Supreme Court take more of them. And all I'm going to still do is sit back and watch and whip my popcorn and say, ooh, boy, this is some true equality happening. Listen, I believe in equality. So yeah, let us all suffer the same. I don't like that one group of people get all the privileges and everything and we got to suffer. No, let's all either we all, be privileged together or we all suffer together. I'm with that. I have no problem with everybody else suffering like we have suffered. And black folks, don't be afraid to say that. Why are we the one elected to suffer all the freaking time? Suffering. And calling us to go fight and using our voice and our energy to go fight for them. And then after you fight for them, they still turn back around and say, F y'all. That's how they have treated us. So no, it is not our issue. It's not our fight. It's not our problem. If you see any black woman coming out here fighting for talking about these folks, dogpile on them. Call them out, find out their name on Twitter, and you go tell them, hey, this is not a black American problem. Our problem is racism, white supremacy. Our problem is we need to close that wealth gap through reparations. That's our fight. We ain't fighting all that. Black folks been taking care of their kids ever since they've been on the plantation. Even when they got off the plantation and they say you got to go with nothing, black folks still took care of their kids. So I don't want to hear that. Black folks know how to make $1 out of 15 cents. It's not our problem. That's a privilege a wicked privilege that you gave yourself. As that author from the Birth Dearth said, Ben Wattenberg, 60% of the deletions in this country is by white women. That's why they got rid of Roe v. Wade. That's why. This is why in these Republican states, they're forcing those women to have children, even if they were violated through incest or the other way. And then at the same time, if you've been paying attention to these court cases with these violators, they're letting them off with slaps on the wrists. So they're establishing, hey, Mzungu, you can go out here and violate these women and nothing gonna happen to you. That's how sick your men has become. That's how sick they've become. Not our problem. That's your problem. That is your problem. Deal with it. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the podcast today. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. And you know when we post another podcast. Click that like button that we spread in the algorithm. And if you're enjoying the platform, make sure you join us on our memberships. Or definitely you could donate through Cash App. It'd be greatly appreciated. So thank you for listening and see you on the next one.